Boom. Piotr Sajdak in the Mucho Amor
That's
Lifestyle
my name.
podcast. Thank you so much for taking time, and so good to see you once again, brother. You're my first guest from Holland, and I'm very happy about it. And yeah, Piotr, you're gonna introduce yourself in a brief 1, 2 sentences, but for our listeners that they kind of get a frame what we're going to talk about it, I want you to talk a little bit later about the bartending association, why bartenders should join. Then you were living in different countries, and it's, in my opinion, very powerful, so maybe you can get some tips, pros, contras. And of course you work with a lot of brands your career, and all bartenders I know, if they're new to the business, if they have been long with us, everyone kind of wants to get job offers. Maybe you have some advices there as well. And then one of the most important topics is balance. There you go, brother. I pass it to you.
Oh, perfect. I hope you can hear me perfectly. And of course, to introduce myself, I have to say that I'm a biggest fan of Mucho Amor, even if I've never been to the bar. And I've promised already to go there for like last 3 or 4 years to make some a nice guest shift with extremely sexy Armin from Francoforte, where we actually met together. But just to make it more seriously, I'm a bartender for over 10 years. And of course, I've started my adventure with bartending in Poland after my football career. When I was about 18 and 19 years old, I've decided to move to the bar business. And of course, my first step I made behind the bars in Krakow. And because my language, I mean English, that time was very bad, I was not even able to say one correct sentence. That's why I made or actually I built my idea for a travel, and the travel was London, Paris, and Berlin. And for each city, I dedicated 2 years, more or less. In London, I spent 2.5 years because the last project in Obelix in Shard, what is the one of the highest building in London, at the London Bridge station. The last project took me extra 8 months because it was super nice, and I've decided to change my plan a little bit to learn a bit more about the Japanese culture, because the whole concept was about the ice carving, about heart shaking. And then I moved to Paris. I was lucky enough that after 1 month of being in Paris, the Little Red Door was looking for some bartenders, and then I was good enough to join the team, and was more or less the same time when I could join the team with Remy Savage, or Remy Savage, who is extremely positive and iconic person. Even if he's a very young guy, he's already an iconic person in the bar business. And then I moved to Germany, to your beautiful country, to work at the Salute Bar in Schöneberg in Berlin. And from that place, I've got an offer from Ross. If Ross watching us, hello Ross. He asked me if I would like to be the brand ambassador for German market for House of Angostura. And of course, this was a beautiful offer, and I decided to do it. And that's how I stayed with Angostura for 5 years. And actually, this year I'm going to stop that job after over 5 years. My last guest shift or cocktail evening with Angostura is going to be in Poland in the end of February. And I think it was a beautiful adventure. Now I'm going to make a little bit of a craft gin with a Polish company. And of course, I'm still doing some job with the Polish Bartenders Association, but I'm sure we are going to talk about it a little bit later. That's my story of my short but very nice life.
Amazing, amazing. And I mean, it kind of emphasizes already how important traveling is, like in terms of, now you were leading seminars, I mean, in English. So, and as you said, by
Exactly.
by the age of 18, you were not able to speak a full sentence. And I mean, now we're doing a podcast in English. Amazing. um of course, you how did you decide suddenly you switch from soccer career to become a bartender? What was the trigger?
Oh, I I realized that I'm not good enough to make a big career in a football game or football industry, because of course in Poland, if you would like to make enough money to pay your rent and to have enough food and to live comfortable, you must to play in the second or maybe first league, and of course that was out of my skills. And then of course I had some troubles at school, and one of the trouble was that I didn't pass the second class in the middle school, and when I was repeating the class, one of the teachers, she decided to send me to one of the hotel in Krakow. In this hotel, I should make like a flame bananas, like when you are putting on a fire the bananas, and you evaporate the alcohol, and then you make a kind of a little show, and of course you've got some delicious banana. And I was doing that for a couple of hours, and another teacher was actually walking around the room, because it was kind of a like a gastronomy festival. There were a couple of other stands. They were doing some other stuff. And she came to me when I was flaming the bananas, and she asked me what I'm doing. And of course, I explained perfectly every single step. And she realized that I'm kind of away from the stress when I have to say something for the public. And then she said, okay, maybe it's a good idea to send you to some junior competition, bartenders competition. And then they sent me to Slovakia. And in Slovakia, I made a silver medal. And because of that, she decided to push me more and more. And I was getting more and more invitations for some bartender courses. And that's how I started my bartender's career. If I can call it career, I would say adventure, because absolutely being a bartender, it's a beautiful adventure.
Definitely. And the way we perceive like bartenders has changed drastically. I know 10 years ago, still maybe even 20 years ago, bartenders were seen like it's just a side job, and now it's a side hustle, but now it's like becoming a really serious job and trade, and I'm proud to be part of it. So definitely. I mean, let's jump straight into it. You became the vice president of the Polish. Is it right? Did I read it right on
Absolutely. No,
uh,
absolutely. You are, as always, you are correct and well prepared. I'm the vice president of the Polish Bartender Association. I'm the person who doesn't really care about the titles, but of course, to being a part of a big association, you need to give the titles for some people. But the most important thing for me is that after 14 or over, I think even 15 years of being the normal regular member of the association, I got the chance to make something bigger for the association. And actually, the last year was a big changement. It was after the COVID. Some of the old members decided to move to IBA, or some of them resign, and they decide to don't do anything together with the Polish Banter Association. That's why this is a big chance for us. But at the same time, it's lots of work to do, and also we have to work for the reputation, because IBA and Polish Bartender Association, they are kind of associations what they don't have the best reputation, and also they don't have that big budget as many companies like Diageo, Pernod Ricard, Beam Suntory have. And that's why it's completely different challenge for us to prove to the young bartenders that we are worth it of the attention, but at the same time to make something good without a big budget.
Nice, nice. So maybe get us like a bit of insights. Why should bartenders, young bartenders, or whatever age they are, join the bartending associations around the world? Like maybe let's do some advertising for you
Yeah.
guys, because I think it's important to have a certain
Yeah.
knowledge and show what we do.
Yeah, definitely. There is a one thing what I'm sure you understand perfectly, because you are also the person who is really taking care about the community and actually being a part of the association. It's not really a job where you can become a millionaire, because we don't get any penny for that. It's just about building the community. It's one of the association what it's not well connected with profits. It's not really taking care about the money benefits, but it's about building the community and make it stronger and stronger. And also the association is one of not so many institutions, or maybe it's the only one, especially in Poland, what can talk directly to the government. Of course, to talk to the government, it's not that easy, but as an association, not as a private company, we have a little bit more rights. Of course, right now we are fighting for even more rights, and there is a big discussion in Poland if it's a good idea to legislation the bartender profession, because actually in Poland you have some, I don't know, association for the hairdressers, and you have associations for some butchers, and actually they can fight for their rights. But if you are talking about bartending and bartenders, we don't have so much of them, and also there is no politician what is taking seriously our job. That's why also one of our mission is to taking care about it. But there is also some dangerous side of that fight for the bartender's job, because if we will get it, that profession, then you have to build a special institution what is, for example, giving a license, let's call it a license, to a different bartending schools, and you can decide that they are right to make to teach the new and fresh bartenders. And actually this is very close to build the monopoly, and monopoly, as we know, it's not good for the business. It's way better if you have so many varieties in the business. But yeah, but that's actually one of the things what I'm trying to push forward. And also I'm talking with many people first to just see how it works and if it's worth it. But probably soon we are going to have a big discussion in Poland if it's really worth it to become a bartending as a big profession, or is still better to keep it for people who are doing for money but also for a passion.
Got it. No, amazing. So congratulations, first of all, that you made it. And I've seen you guys have been in Cuba at the World Championship, right? How was that experience?
Exactly, we even made a golden medal.
Exactly. Nice.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It
it
was a
must have
great,
been
it was a great experience. Oh, sorry. It was great experience, and also Cuba is a special country because, for example, this year we are going to have a final of the International Bartender Association World Cocktail Championship in Rome, in Italy. And in Italy, actually, every single company, glass suppliers, booze suppliers, they have some distribution. In Cuba, because it's their communism, there is no suppliers at all, and there is no reason for some companies to invest money to bring some products to Cuba if they will have no clients over there in future. That's why actually that was a big challenge for the whole IBA, but they made it perfectly, and actually the competition was almost perfectly made it. There were of course some couple of mistakes, but when you make a big event, some mistakes always coming surprisingly. But yeah, it was a big challenge. We made the golden medal. It was also a big surprise for us because for many years we had a Marek Posłuszny, who is one of the biggest champion in the world in the flair category. Right now he's a very lucky father, and also he's doing some other stuff. That's why he couldn't join us for a Cuba, but we were looking for a next person after Marek Posłuszny, and we took Kacper, and Kacper was already trying to be the next champion for last 3 years, and finally he got the chance to go to Cuba, and he made the job perfectly. We couldn't dream even more than just make a golden medal on the first step. That's why it was a big help for us, and also huge success. Congratulations, Kacper.
Congratulations here as well from the Mucho Amor Lifestyle Podcast. Living in different countries, you already touched it. Like, it is powerful. It helped you developing your English skills, but do you have any other advantages which came along with it? Let's say culture, new cocktail techniques, maybe also some downsides and tips if someone from the young bartenders decides, hey, I want to go in a different country. What were the biggest challenges for you?
Oh, I think traveling to different countries, they have a beautiful privilege what is meeting other people, and I think meeting other people is the biggest privilege what we can get in our life. Of course, changing the countries, the important thing, you have to put your ego into your pocket, and you should keep it very deep, because if you are kind of a person who is pretending that is the best of the best, and you are going to a different country, they don't really care who you are. Like when I was going to Berlin, I was not trying to tell to people like, oh guys, I used to work at one of the 50 best bars in the world. No, I was trying to build my reputation from the scratch, and I was trying to show them that I'm worth of their trust. And actually in every city, maybe London was more complicated because the bar is not that close, because the city is huge and the competition it's even bigger. But in Paris, I remember that after 1 week in at the Le Tour, I've been invited to play football with some bartenders from Parisian bar scene. And when you are playing football on Wednesday, or actually every Wednesday with the bartenders, you became a part of the community. You got every single information about new competitions, about which bar is looking for new bartenders. That's why it was the easiest way to get in, and was very friendly also. And in Berlin was also very nice. Like I didn't have any problems, But of course, every single bar scene is completely different, like different palate. For example, in London, they are more dry. In Paris, they are kind of middle dry or even middle sweet. And in Germany, you are like very strong. There is no chance for sugar. In Germany, you are the best. I think you are the masters of distillation. That's why you're always taking care about the booze, who made it, where was made it, what is the base ingredients. That's why from the whole world, I think Germany is more precise. If you look at the language, also, I think your language is the most technical language in the world. And when you are asking about the attitudes of traveling, as you know, I'm always trying to speak my bad but still German. And I think learning languages is also one of the privilege, because you don't have to pay for the native speaker. You're just trying to talk to the people at the bar. If you make some mistakes, no worries. That's the way to the success. That's why learning languages and meeting people, that's the two biggest points of changing the countries and traveling as a bar person.
Hashtag German engineering. No, I completely agree with you. Um, it is a challenge, but also once you mastering it or you start understanding people speak in a language which is not your native language, it is beautiful, and you feel like, wow, there is something brewing, and it's powerful. Like knowledge, languages, it's powerful. Definitely.
Exactly. I'm always trying to repeat that if you have million in your pocket, somebody can steal it. But if you have a knowledge in your head, there is nobody who can steal it. That's why actually knowledge and skills, that's something what you cannot really buy.
Absolutely, absolutely. And maybe it's also including one of the points where we're going to talk next about it. And I think it's super, super interesting for really young bartenders, because while we are bartenders, we expose ourselves. We are kind of in the middle, in the bar, behind the counter. Everyone is watching you, talking to you. And what fits better than jobs with brands, and I mean, you have worked with a lot of different brands, and it's good money, I would say, if you have the right brands to work with, and it's exposure for you. So maybe get us your idea or how it worked for you that you get job offers from brands.
Mm. And it's a beautiful interview, because you know the answer to that question, I'm sure, because you work as a brand ambassador, as a global brand ambassador, what is even better than my job. But definitely the priority, in my opinion, you must to like the spirit. I don't believe that there is a good brand ambassador who doesn't like the product, because maybe not on the first day or first week of your job, but at some point people will realize that you are not a big fan of the category what you represent, that you are not a big fan of the spirit. That's why actually you are not going to be authentic, and then people will not like it. That's why the priority is to choose the brand or the spirit or the category, what is your favorite, and then try to be a friend with some brands what they are representing the category. And of course you are not going to be the brand ambassador from the first day, but you can take a part in the competition. You can learn something about the spirit. If you have a chance, maybe you can go to the country where the spirit is produced or has been produced, and you have to build the actually the option or the chance that the brand become interesting about you, because actually you build your PR, and it's in your hands what they are going to think about you and what they are going to offer to you. Because it's not about being lucky that you are actually at the bar and some, I don't know, owner of the brand is coming to your bar and directly takes you. No, normally they do a big research. Normally they're looking for the brand ambassador between hundreds of people, and to choose this person, to choose you must be sure that you want to be a part of the business, of the family, of the brand. And then if you are sure about the brand, the way is easier. You just need to find the people what they are responsible for it, and a little bit of luck, but maybe just a little bit. It's always helping. But I think the luckiness is not that important.
I totally agree, especially when you work as a brand ambassador. Maybe you have some advices also for little jobs, let's say bar convent. How do young bars
Exactly.
know if it's the right brand or not? What do you think? Because I have seen, as you already mentioned, it was when I was living in Australia, there was like a tequila brand. It was one of the big ones. I'm not gonna mention it, but there was a brand ambassador, and when it came to making drinks, and it's a nice tequila brand, but when it came to the brand ambassador, we were like, cool, can we can we do some margaritas? And he was like, you know, I do not actually know how to make a margarita. It was kind of his words, and I was like, okay, man, you're a brand ambassador for a big brand, a nice brand, you know, you have a good liquid. Come on, that's not the idea of an
Yeah.
ambassador. Yeah,
From my point of view, from my perspective, taking somebody to be the brand ambassador of some spirits and who has no cocktail experience, it's a big mistake. But I believe that the company what was hiring the guy or the lady, they were looking for somebody who is good with Excel files or with numbers.
exactly.
But in general, I believe that even if you take a person like that, you should invest some money in that person and give him or give her at least the basic education. Or if that person is not that good with cocktails, maybe it's a good idea to hire somebody who is actually a bartender, because this is a very bad impression when somebody asks you to make a margarita and you have to tell them like, sorry, I don't know how to make it. Also bad story when you have somebody who has been asked like, can you tell me something about the spirit, and that person doesn't even know if it's 100% of agave, or it's made, where is it made, or who made it. I think that's the basic stuff what you have to know, and more you know, then you are more authentic.
100%, 100%, and that's a powerful tool. What you already mentioned as well, knowledge is power. You can take away, and I believe it, I really believe it, especially in during COVID times, it kind of opened my eyes as well, that I was not stressing out. I was angry sometimes about certain decisions, but I was not stressing out, never, because if you take anything away from us, we have the knowledge like to survive. I think in Poland you guys are quite down to earth as well. You still know how to pick your mushrooms, you know how to pick your herbs, what can I eat, what is poisoning my body. There's so much knowledge we have to know, and it's super important in my opinion that we have this. Yeah, that is
Absolutely.
part of the knowledge game in my opinion. Is it?
Absolutely. You know even better because you are the guy who finished the pizza workshops, and you know if today they're gonna close your bar, you have so many other skills what you can do. Like you can be the professional boxer, you can be the Viking.
No, but it is a point. I give the advice that, and everyone can do the same. Obviously, we just have to invest some time, which means fermentation classes, different knowledge levels. There's so much things we have to learn every day, and it comes also to the next point. Like I think when I want to ask you, how do you achieve your balance? What's your magic pill? Is it important to you to have a certain balance? I mean, you already touched that point, sport, etc., etc. You have a lot of different projects where you are part of. So how do you manage this all? Because I'm a master in postponing, even though then sometimes I do a lot. I achieve, like yesterday night, I worked till 7 in the morning and it felt good, you know. It never stresses me, but that's the most important point for me. What's the magic pill for you?
Well, definitely the balance. It's a very important thing. I'm also a master of postponing things, or I'm a master of taking so much on my shoulder. But in general, I'm following the agenda. But definitely, sport is something what I like the most. Not all the time I have a bit of break to do some running or to do some boxing, but when I take the challenge, I take it seriously. Like next 2 months I'm going to prepare myself for a boxing championships, because there is a very nice event in Krakow, in the city where I'm right now, that you have to sell 60 tickets, you have to collect 250 zlotys, and then the guys are organizing like a big gala, and you can be like a first and probably last time in your life as a professional boxer. That's why for next 2 months I'm going to be focused on the boxing skills. But I believe the sport for me was always the part of my life what could gives me a little bit of air in my body and automatically to restart my brain. And this is the most important thing. But also I love to sit with a book. I love to read some books, and I believe that after many years in our bar business, everything away from the bar business give you so much balance.
I completely agree, and this is my go-to, you know. I completely agree. I mean, now during COVID, I started, or I'm almost done I became a nutritionist, like a health coach as well, because I think it's so important, and I see more and more that a lot of people need help in these kind of topics, especially what you just touched.
Absolutely.
Um, especially, you know, we do sports. What we do after a heavy workout, what do? We take a shower, right? But what do we do?
Yes,
We have 60,000 thoughts every day, each and every day, and we do not give our spirit, our soul enough time to take a spiritual shower. And that's so important. Breathing techniques, drink a lot of water, do sport. And I cannot stress enough about it, because especially in the bar scene, I mean, we know it. We know it. We are party animals. We can party, but it's so important to withdraw yourself, to have hobbies, to do different things, read books, go for a walk. So important and powerful, I think. Yeah.
definitely. Definitely, like I'm not sure if this is a regular rule, but for me, when I've got a question and I cannot find the answer, I'm taking just a 1 hour of running, like very slowly with some music, and actually after 1 hour, I got the clear answer. Also, when I'm looking for inspiration for a stand-up comedy, because also last years I'm doing some stand comedy in Poland. Exactly, that's the way how I'm actually running, and the ideas are coming directly to my brain. Also, for many years, I'm waiting for some company like a big spirits brand what will make a kind of a, I don't know, taking a 10 bartenders or maybe 20 bartenders, because the biggest problem for bartenders, in my opinion, to keep the balance is the budget. Because sometimes when you would like to have a proper diet and you would like to have some rest, sometimes it's out of the budget. And I believe that one day some of the biggest brands should take like a 10 or 20 bartenders, even not from the same country, from the whole world, and just give them the professional trainer, just give them professional nutrition, and at the same time, keeping the job behind the bar. And I believe the balance is absolutely possible, but you need to know exactly the route how to make it, the way how you have to go through it. And at some point when you make the routine, then it comes even easier. But the most important thing is to start it and to just go the routine, and for 2 3 months make it, and then you're gonna love it. Like, you are a perfect example. You do so much job, you have got so much like booze in your life, because last time you made a beautiful sazerac, you have a little sips of tequila, but you are still having time for boxing, for some meditation. That's why there is enough time, but there is maybe something not enough motivation.
Exactly. We cannot demonize alcohol, but we have to take ourselves serious. Like for me, every day, at least 30 minutes sport in the morning. That's how I kickstart my day. And if I don't do it, I kind of feel already, oh, I'm getting nervous. There's something missing. And I think that's really, really
Exactly.
important. And we have to, as you said, the knowledge has to be spread. That's why I did this nutrition course. I'm doing all the time. I educate myself, and I want to spread that. So that's one of the reasons why we did like the MUCHO AMOR guide to happiness. Like, we're doing a course where we're really trying to spread that knowledge, because it is so important. And if we want to make the world a better place, we really have to focus on these kind of things. Sport also, you have proven at the BCB, I think not last time, 2 years ago, you
Breakdancing.
proven the breakdance part. I love that part. That
Yeah,
was great, by
this
the way.
is this is always deal with Remy Savage, because he's always pushing me to make the breakdancing, and I'm just waiting when one day I'm going to break my bones, because of course I'm getting heavier, I'm getting older. But yeah, but he has so much energy, and we have a deal that most of the time we have to do some breakdancing, like we did in 2015 and 16 in Paris.
Oh, great.
But
Dancing
yeah,
probably
also about the
sorry, there's
exactly.
Gabriel.
Exactly. But also about the nutrition and the balance, there is a beautiful project, for example, one of many, from Ian Bell from Bacardi, that he's actually bringing people to Thailand and giving some detox. Of course, he's organizing that in January, and of course you have the diet detoxification and also some Thai boxing, and this is absolutely enough to do it even once per year, because it's already a big help for our body.
It is
And of course, you can keep going that when you come back to Europe. But yeah, great
true.
idea.
Once you get started, you take it for the rest of your life, I believe, because sport is
Exactly.
addictive, and we need it. We need to move. It is just in our DNA, and how
Yeah.
the things are changing. Also, you mentioned it, you know, I mean, we need more information, but also we have a powerful device, which is our mobile, you know, and we can use it way better than everything is for free, you know, everything. Nowadays, you can be everything you want, and that's amazing. I find it a very powerful tool, which also leads me to our last point. Where are we heading into the digital world, digital bartending? What is the future of bartending in general? Give me your quick thoughts about it.
Oh, where's the future of bartending? We have to ask Daniel Nevsky. No, definitely the future of bartending is somewhere, but I cannot answer where it is. Definitely, digital world is something what we appreciate and what it's easy for us to use.
Yes.
As you said, most of the informations are for free, but also the number of information is huge. That's why sometimes we don't really know which information is correct, which information it's not. That's why the verification is very important, and many times we don't have enough time to make the verification and to decide which information is correct and which information is good for us. But yeah, I think definitely digital world, and I believe that after the COVID, we are coming back to the normal, a little bit different reality, but still we are going to be back to a big spirits festival, to all of the presentations. Maybe some of the brands will invest next year some money to bring people to the distilleries to make some events. So I believe we are getting better and better after the crazy 2021, I think. Oh, sorry, 2019 and 2020, when
Yeah,
was the year of full of lockdowns. But yeah,
totally.
it was a big lesson for us, and also I think we survived as a bar business, even if some governments were trying to kill us. But yeah, that's one more proof that we are worth it to stay, and people will stay with us. Like the guests were supporting us with some cocktail deliveries, and also very important thing, even in a very bad and difficult time, we were still promoting the culture of drinking, not the culture of getting drunk.
Definitely. I mean, I still remember we had a pop-up in Berlin in at this time in Bavaria where our bar is MUCHO AMOR. We were not able to do anything, so we were deciding, hey, let's use all the gray zones. Yes, you are sometimes down, but it proves that you can always do better. You have to work for it, you have to grind. Last but not least, brother, thank you so much for taking your time. We could talk for hours, I know, but I don't want to stretch it too long. Maybe tell us your favorite bartender and your favorite book. It does not have to be related to the hospitality industry, just in general. It can be whatever advice or
Mhm.
whatever kind of books you're reading.
I have plenty of books in Berlin, and most of them they are about bartending. But I don't have any book what I would say this is the best one. Last time when I was doing an interview with some Polish YouTuber, I recommended a book what is quite old, and I hope in English is the same name as in Polish.
Yeah,
It's She, and She actually a book about the lady what was a bartender or barmaid. Some people, some ladies, they don't like the name barmaid, but I think that's the correct name for a lady behind the bar, or I can call it bartender anyway.
yeah.
And she was also from the Islamic religion, and actually she was working behind the bar, and she was actually explaining how difficult or how different is to work behind the bar when you are a woman and when you are from a different religion and when you work in New York, because actually the whole action is in New York. That's why this is the book what I can recommend, because it's explaining so many different stories and so many weird situations what actually some of them are happening right now. Like, just to give you an example, I read that book in 2000, I think 10, and that time for me was super crazy that in United States of America, if you would like to have a bartenders for your workshop at 11 or 12 o'clock, you must to give them guarantee that they're gonna get $50, and then you are sure that some people will come. Doesn't matter, they are going to sleep at the presentation, but you will have at least some number of people. And actually now I see that the youngest people, they don't really care about the knowledge what they can get. They are taking care about how much money they will get for it, or if they get some bottle of booze for free. And that's why
How many
actually this
likes
book
they get
is
for the post they do?
Exactly. Completely different priorities. That's why actually this book could be something what I can suggest. I hope it's still available in the market. If not, I can give to somebody, but I've got only the one in Polish. That's
Right.
why maybe one day we can do some ebook in English.
Yeah, great. And your favorite bartender, if you have one?
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. The favorite bartender is the one what is front of me.
I love that answer. Great answer. 100 points.
Exactly. No, there are so many people in this world, and many of the young and old bartenders, they are super crazy and super good with the skills. I always prefer the friendly bartenders. I'm not a big fan of the arrogant mixologists, but I know some of them, they have to exist in the business to make yeah, the varieties of the character. But definitely I like the friendly guys, what they are able to speak when they are, what they are not removing the chairs from the bar because the guests are making their life too complicated. That's why definitely friendliness and being nice to people and kindly, that's the priority, and that's the bartenders what I like. But I don't have one person what I love the most, except of Armin from Hunky Dory in Frankfurt. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Big shout out to Armin. Piotr, thank you so much for taking your precious time. You got the whole community a lot of advices. How yeah, I'm gonna link your Instagram. If someone got any questions, they can reach out to you at any time. Our session comes to an end, and I really hope that I'm gonna see you soon wherever it is gonna be. And yeah, it was a pleasure to have you in. I have also a present for you. I see you next time. For me, the most powerful book, and it's only available in Germany, I think, maybe in Japanese, from a doctor, and it's about peace, about breathing techniques, and how you. It's kind of a fountain of youth. So it's an amazing book, and I bought, I think, 50 times the same book because it's the most powerful book, and I want to give it away to people who
That's
really
amazing.
spread the message. And yeah, so next time I see you, you definitely get it. I still have
That's
like
going to be my second. That's going to be my second book in German, because the first one I've got the Mr. Schumann's book, and it's also in German. But thank you so much. I'm looking forward, and big thank you for our invitation to this beautiful podcast. I'm a big fan of it. Keep going, please.
Thank you, and I hope you're gonna see you soon, brother. Thank you so much.
Definitely.